Okay, we are back at the table. So now, oh boy, the next part of this project requires a little more technical skill. So we're going to go ahead and just remove that screw, put that in the cup with the rest of the little parts, pull these plates back apart again, which are now clean. Now, what we need to do is we need to figure out where these gears go, and not for the purpose of putting it back together. Those we don't really need. I don't really need that one. I might need that one. I know it sounds like I'm just throwing gears away here, but I'm actually not. What I'm actually trying to do here is figure out which side these gears went on. Okay, this one, I believe, see there again, it's one of those things where, you know, if you take a picture, it really helps. Now, what I need to do here is figure out which side. Okay, this is the strike one, this one's the time one, okay. So we're just going to stick that in there without the spring, because I want to see if this meshes. Okay, it does. So this is the gear I actually really need to take a look at. Now what I'm checking is where the gear goes in the hole and seeing how much slop there is. Now this one's livable. The front plate, which would be this hole, I'm checking. Quite a bit of movement, but honestly not enough for me to be concerned about it. These old movements were designed to run with play. Now when you're checking for the slop of a gear, you're checking to see how far it rocks back and forth in the hole. Okay? You don't want them tight. That's the last thing you want. Now this one's right on the borderline. I would almost replace this one or put a new bushing in, but my attention is on the next hole up right here. That's the one I'm really worried about. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to illustrate what's going on here. And to do this, I need to zoom in. Now the hole is egg-shaped, meaning it's wallowed out to one side very badly. What I need to do is put it in the center of that oil sink, as it's called. Let me just get a little pointing device here. But it needs to be on this side of the hole, not that side. So I need to put a bushing in here, but I'm going to go ahead and illustrate that here in just a moment, because that is just, I mean, you can see here how far it moves. Not so much this way, but the opposite way. So what I need to do is go ahead and we're going to put a bushing in there. So now what I need to do first is figure out what size bushing I need. Let me make it so you can see something. How about that? But anyway, these yellow boxes are my set of bushings. They're little brass bushings, various assorted bushings in here. And what I need to do is pick out the right one. Now, like I said, I'm feeling lazy, so you know what? This was the gear. Let me just double check. Okay, so that's where it needs to be. So now I just need to find the right size bushing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pick one. Let's see if it fits over the arbor. Now this one is very close. As a matter of fact, if I twisted that much more, it would probably go right on there. Now that came out of this one. Now if I go one size bigger, okay, that's too much slop. So I'm going to go for the smaller one. Yes, they are tiny. So now that I know that that's the bushing I'm going to use, I got to figure out what size reamer to use. So now we're going to go over to here to my magic drawer. This is part of my bushing machine set. Alright, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to transition over to the bushing machine, and I'm going to explain exactly what it is we need to do. So now we've got our bushing here. Now what I need to do is find the right size reamer. Now, I should be an intelligent person and actually mark the holes, but, you know, I like to do everything the hard way. So, this one here is the right size. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off, we need that reamer, and then I need my centering tool, and then I'm going to need my bushing pusher. So now what I need to do is I always try to work from the back side. Some people do it the opposite way. I'm not really sure if there's any better way or not. But anyway, I'm just going to move these out, maybe. Oh. So now I just need to get this hole lined up. And I need to find the right. It's this one. Okay, good. That will do. Right. Okay, clamp that in on that side. Not tight, just snug. A little bit of room to play there. I can loosen these up here, and now I can move this around. Alright, so now I need my centering tool, so I'm going to put that in here. And by the way, for any of you that are paying attention, this is a KWM style bushing machine. So if you're interested in using this particular style, I highly recommend actually any of them. There's Virgin, and then there's this one. I tend to prefer this one because it's American, and I'm an American, so I'm going to use American made stuff. Like this bushing machine is made in America, which I was honestly extremely excited to find out. Okay. Now what I did there is I centered it up to the right portion of the hole. It looks like it needs a little bit of adjusting here. Okay. Now we're going to tighten everything down. Then we can take the centering bit out. We're going to put that back because I don't need it anymore. Now for the reamer. Put that in, give it a little twist. Okay, now this, I'm going to try to make it so that you can see what I'm doing here. So now you see here, we've got it all lined up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start reaming out this hole. I'm going to start it off slow. Take your time, go slow, because we want to keep it in that centered up hole, that centered up portion of the hole. So in this case, I'm really kind of taking it slow. And mind you, this is all by hand, so you can really feel it. Okay, it's getting a little bit bigger here. Now, I know it seems like I'm destroying this movement by making a hole here, but don't worry. Everything will be fine. Okay. Now we're getting to where I can kind of give it a little more pressure here. Not quite through yet. I'm just having lighting issues here. Okay, there we go. Give it a couple of good turns there as we take it out. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and take this guy out. Okay. Kind of rough around the edge there. I think I'm going to throw my chamfering tool in here and just give that a light touch up here. Just kind of a quick little run around there. There we go. And maybe just a touch more here. Okay. That's better. Okay. Now, sometimes these are hard to get out. Alright, so now we got my pusher, and I don't mean for drugs. So now I need to get the bushing. Now we want the oil sink portion of the bushing to be facing down or out. Okay. Just kind of set that in place there. And now is actually where I need my little hammer. So I'm going to bring this down. Give it a little tap to start, make sure everything's looking good. And then we're just going to drive that puppy home. I just remembered. Oh no, never mind. I don't want to beat the tar out of it, just and one final there. Okie doke. And now we have a bushing in place right in the center of my oil sink. That makes me very happy. There we go. And there's our new bushing in all of its glory. Okay. Okay, so now we have our freshly bushed hole right over here. Okay. It turned out fairly well. It's almost in the center. It's good enough for me. It's a lot better than it was. At least now I know it won't travel. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go and see if this is going to... don't fit. Well, okay. No big deal. Remember I mentioned broaches? Okay. Get it lined up in there, and then we're just going to take out a little bit here. You're putting a little bit of pressure, but not a lot. Kind of blow it out a little bit there. Take our gear. We got it to go through that time. Okay. That's good. Let me readjust my camera. Okay. Zoom in a little bit more here. So we're still not quite there. Okay. And we want to get it as straight as we can. Okay. It's hard to watch the camera and do this at the same time. Okay. That's a pretty darn good fit. I'm just going to give it a tad more though, for good measure, because I think I was a little off on it. Okay. There. Okay, there we go. That is a nice good fit. No more traveling, no more eggshells, no more egg holes. Okay, now we're going to zoom it back out, and guess what's going to happen next? You know what's going to happen next? Reassembly. That's right. Okay, so now we're just going to basically work backwards, kind of. What I'm going to go ahead and do is put this gear back on. Now, an easy way with these older movements to tell which way is forwards and backwards is they have, now they're not all like this, but this one has ridges. See this little raised area of the gear where it was stamped? That's always forward on these older movements, like older, okay? Keep that in mind. If you ever come across that, the little cheating tool there. Remember how we took this off? It goes back on the same way. Put it on, and make sure that goes in the hole. There we go. Okay, and that's supposed to have a little bit of a snug to it. It's not supposed to spin real free. Okay. All right, so that's back on. Now we got to go and get the bottom over here, or the back. Sorry. All of you other horologists out there going, ah! What the heck are you talking about? Okay, now, oh wait, there's one more thing I have to do. I need to put the springs back on the arbors. Yes. And there's another step in the process that I need to do while I'm doing that. So,